Hello everybody and welcome to this, my first of 3 videos on the Canon EOS 3. Coincidence? No, not at all. This is just a very complicated camera with a whole lot of stuff to it, and each of the videos is going to go into a different level of depth. So when I announced Canon Month, this is the camera that the vast majority of people wanted to see and were most excited about. So I'm very happy to be able to bring it to you. The Canon EOS 3 is an interchangeable lens 35mm SLR. Now what that means is that the lenses can be taken off and a different one can be put back on at any point when you're not taking a photo without ruining your film. 35mm means it can take any 35mm film that you would like to put into it. And SLR means that the light here goes through the single lens to a reflex mirror up through the prism and to your viewfinder, and you can see the scene until right before you take your photo. The meter types on this camera include center-weighted, 21-zone evaluative, an 8.5% partial spot metering, and then full spot metering. It has shutter speeds of 30 seconds to 1/8,000th of a second in bulb. It has a fantastic range. The viewfinder has magnification of 0.72x and 97% frame coverage. Now what that means is in the viewfinder what you're going to see is 72% the size of what's going to reach the film. 97% frame coverage means that if what you're seeing here in this video is what's on your film, then roughly 1.5% on the top and bottom and each of the sides will be on your film, but not in the viewfinder. The focusing screen is a laser engraved matte field focusing screen that shows your spot metering area as well as an autofocus area ellipse, and it's removable, and there are 9 additional focusing screen options you could use to put into this camera. And the flash sync speed on this camera is 1/200th of a second. The Canon EOS 3 was targeted at the advanced amateur, entry-level pro, or as a Series 1 backup body for professional shooters. And it really fulfills all of those objectives. It's capable, it has a good feature set, it has a few nifty things like autofocus that amateurs would be really interested in as well. It was made by Canon in Japan from 1998 until 2007, so a really good long production run on these. And they're new enough that there are still a lot of these that are in very good shape. It was preceded by the EOS 5. It was concurrent with the 1N, 1NRS, 1V, 50, 30, 30V, 500N, 300, 300V, 300X, 5000, 3000, 3000N, and 3000V. One of the things about Canon is they throw cameras at the market all of the time. The big part of their marketing strategy is to just flood the market with incremental upgrades. So cameras like this, which have a long production run, are produced alongside of a lot of different cameras. This was followed by nothing in film, but in the digital world, this would have been equivalent to something like the 5D. So now as we do, let's go through the camera's features, and we'll start here and see what they are. In the second video, we'll talk about how to use the camera's features for your photos, and in the third video, we're going to go through the menu, the custom functions menu, so that you know how to set up your camera and customize it for your needs. These are the strap lugs right here where you would connect your camera strap. Mode button, autofocus button, metering mode and aperture exposure value compensation button. These 2 bottom ones pressed in concert adjust your ISO. These 2 buttons, the side and the mode pressed in concert, give you exposure bracketing. And this bottom button and the mode button pressed in concert give you drive mode changes. Flash hot shoe. iFocus on and off. Information LCD screen. LCD illumination button right here. Exposure value compensation button right here. FE lock button, top command wheel. Shutter release. On the front of the camera, we have the depth of field preview button right here, lens mount index, lens release button, and this is the flash PC port, the remote socket right here, flash PC port here, And this is the film back release with this button here is a lock that you have to press before you can open up the film back. On this side of the camera over here, we have the custom functions, battery check, multiple exposure, and clear buttons underneath this flap. And we'll get to see some here. We'll spend some time here in videos 2 and 3. On the camera's back, we have the viewfinder, the film window, which will tell you what type of film you have in it, because you can see this little text here through that, or just confirm that you have film in the camera. Power button for the rear command wheel. Main power button here with lock, active, and beep. Film rewind button, asterisk button, and autofocus point selection button. On the camera's bottom, we have the motor drive coupling cover right here. So if you have a motor drive, this has motor drive in it. So there's another additional motor drive that this can take. Must be for faster drive speeds, I guess. I'm not sure. Anyway, motor drive coupling cover, serial number, Canon Inc., made in Japan, CE certification, tripod socket, battery chamber. Inside of the camera, we are the film cassette chamber here, DX code readers there, film guide pin. Film guide rails are these 4 silver rails. The 2 inner ones keep the film flat by sandwiching it up against the pressure plate over here on the back, which we'll see in a second. The outer ones keep the film from moving up and down as it travels, and this pin helps the film come out of the cassette smoothly. This roller keeps the film moving smoothly as it's taken up by the film take-up spool. That orange index is the leader index for when you load your film. Electronic contacts to give power to the film back. This tension roller right here rests right here to keep the film being taken up by the film take-up spool. Film pressure plate. Film cassette retaining spring to help keep it aligned inside the camera body. And a light seal around the window so that the light coming in through the window doesn't ruin your film. Some notes on the Canon EOS 3. This was, if not the first, then one of the first cameras made with eye-controlled AF. My notes say it's the first, but I just finished recording the EOS, the Elan 2E video, and I thought that was made before this one. Anyway, eye-control AF is a pretty neat thing. It was the first camera with 45 autofocus points. It is the oldest camera that I know of with firmware updates available. However, those were only available through Canon, which meant the firmware could be updated on this if you sent it to Canon, and then they would update it. To the best of my knowledge, they are no longer updating firmware on these cameras, and so whatever firmware you've got with your camera, that's what you're going to have for it. There is no on-camera autofocused assist light. You can see there's no AF light where many of the cameras have them. However, some Canon speedlight flashes, and I don't have a list of which ones they are, can provide autofocused assist beams that the EOS 3 can use. Some things not to do with your camera. Don't touch the shutter. The leaves in this camera can be messed up by your finger oils, and that's a good way to ruin your camera. Also, touching your shutter can cause the leaves to hop tracks, which will absolutely brick your camera in a second. Don't touch the mirror that's behind the lens here, because your finger oils can tarnish the mirror, which will make your autofocus and your metering inaccurate, and will also make your viewfinder dimmer. Don't leave your camera or lenses in your car, because heat can cause the oils to get very thin and get to places they're not supposed to be, and then when they get back to their normal viscosity and temperature, they mess up the works. Likewise, extreme cold can cause those oils to break down and get very gummy and cause your camera not to work properly. And also, this is a very nice looking camera, and somebody who's interested in taking your camera is not going to ask whether or not it's a film camera. They're just going to break your window and take it. So even if you're just hopping out of your car for a few minutes, take your camera with you, because it's cheaper and easier than replacing it and your car window. Don't store your camera in a plastic bag or box unless you have a rechargeable desiccant pack in there. Not the kind that comes with the beef jerky, but an actual rechargeable desiccant pack that goes into the oven to be recharged. If you put the beef jerky desiccant pack in the oven, you're going to set your house on fire. And one of the reasons for that is that plastic bags or boxes allow moisture to permeate through them, and if the moisture gets into this camera, it will cause fungus in your optics. Don't let your camera get wet, just as a good practice. And just remember that your Canon EOS 3 is a precision tool and should be handled with care and respect. And as long as you take care of your camera will take care of you. So that is it on the first video. We've gone over what the different things are. And in the next video, we'll talk about how to use them to take photos with your Canon EOS. Thank you for watching this video. Please give me a thumbs up. That lets me know that I'm on the right track producing content which is useful and helpful to you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those in the comments section below. I'm pretty good about checking these every couple of days and answering questions. If you have any suggestions or ideas for future videos, and if I have the technical know-how and equipment, I'm more than happy to make those. One last thing. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I gotta get up, Steinbeck. I have to turn off the camera.